Good morning, everybody. It's Katie Phillips here. I am the founder of the School of Self-Love, and it is my absolute honor to be with you today with another interview as part of the My Menopause interview series. And today I'm joined by the beautiful Linda Morrison. Hi, Linda. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Katie?
Very well, thank you. So we were trying to get this, we're starting a little bit later than we had intended because I was trying to share it over to Facebook. But Facebook and Zoom don't want to communicate today for some reason. So we're here live on Zoom. If you have any questions for Linda throughout this, please, you'll see at the bottom of Zoom, there's a little Q&A box. You can leave your questions in there and we will definitely have Linda answer those at some point during the call. So if something comes up for you while we're chatting, type it in and we'll come to you later on. Linda, let me introduce you to everybody. I've got your bio here. So Linda Morrison is a leading body transformation coach for women over 40 and a #1 international best-selling author. She's the creator of the Ageless Body formula, a 6-step system that helps women who are struggling with a lack of time, little energy, and weight gain to finally get a healthy, youthful body that they desire. Linda's successful client stories and businesses have been featured in the Huffington Post, Forbes, on Fox News, ABC, CBS, and the Los Angeles Times. When she's not helping women around the world to transform their bodies, you can find her hanging out with her 2 children, cooking yummy food, and working out at the beach. And you're calling in from your hometown of Melbourne in Australia, Linda?
Yes, we've done our Tuesday. So it's 8 p.m., which is usually my pajama time. So it's a pleasure to be here.
8 o'clock, jammies are on. Yeah.
That's it.
So dive straight in. I'm really interested to know, you obviously working with a lot of women and you've got a big following. You're doing some really amazing work in the world. So what are the women you work with coming to you with? What are you seeing them presenting with most around menopause?
Mostly it's fatigue. They lose their memory, or they're sort of, not as sharp as they would like to be. Resistant weight on their frame, or, they're resistant to weight loss, or they get some weight gain around this time. And sleeplessness is very common as well, and often the start symptom of perimenopause, I find, as well. And these are symptoms that are not just for menopause. Of course, we all can, have this occur as well. So yeah, that's mainly what comes up.
And how are you helping them with that?
Well, I peel it right back to basics. And I've had to do this with myself because I broke down metabolically with adrenal fatigue at about 35 years of age. So I had to work out a way to build myself back up. So as that presented at that time, I probably pushed my body's 2 babies in less than 2 years, pregnant, breastfeeding for 4 years, no sleep for 6 or 7 probably. And then I pushed my body physically because I was very athletic, and being a trainer in the fitness industry, I worked really, really hard, worked hard with a young family, and I had pushed myself into the ground. So this is a very, very common story in modern women. And I had to learn a way, and it became the basis of the Ageless Body formula, where I work with women generally over 40 and 50. This formula came at that time where I wanted and had very high standards around keeping a body of health and a good body, a body that I wanted. I wanted to look athletic and feel great in my body and in my skinny jeans. It was my standards around that. But be really, really, really well. So not push myself too far or hard with these children. So I ended up, that adrenal fatigue showed up in severe anaphylaxis, swelling around my airways 12 times in 10 months. And this story is really not about me, but it made me realize how precious we really, really are, and that I had pushed myself so hard that I looked great, but I wasn't well. And they're not always mutually exclusive. So I go back to simple tasks. I went back to simple tasks, so getting the fresh air, making sure I got rest or sleep. If it wasn't in a row, if the children, woke me in the night, then I made sure that I would rest during the day at some point. So I went slow to go fast, and I'm very energetic. So I need to make sure that I really get the slow bit right, because I'm good to activate but not to slow down. Yeah, there's a lot of women like that. Sometimes it's easier to keep going, but then we crash. And so where is the crash point? How am I going to teach other people to be so well, but still get all the other things that they're wanting as well? Work done, the children done, great parenting, time for their own relationship, etc. So the whole formula came back at that time. So perfect amount of exercise to condition your body, not to push it too hard. And I'm very, very big on women's bodies being in great condition. And I don't want them to be shy to really try, but we need to get the adequate rest, great quality foods from nature, and then some type of meditative practice. So my meditative practice might be different to your meditative practice, Katie. So I'm very open and non-rules related as to how you chunk it down and how you slow it down. And it's okay to do a little bit of that. I'm not great at meditation either, but I try to get a bit better each day at listening in. And as long as you do it. So there's a lot of basics there. And a lot of my ladies are parents. So what do you give your baby? Great sources of food, fresh air. We get outside to tire you out with exercise, and then you can have a good rest. All those sorts of basics.
Yeah. What do you mean when you say it's important to you that a woman's body is in good condition? What's good condition?
Well, being a phys ed student from way back at university and very athletic right through my life and even now into my 40s, like to say really, really athletic, is that sedentary lifestyle is really, not great. And me taking my entire business online now, teaching a lot of online business, I sit around a hell of a lot more than I used to. But what I have found is that if I don't get 7 kilometers in walking a day, my back hurts. And I think it's incredibly important to move this body. Your body is designed to move. It's designed to do 4 hours of exercise a day. We're lucky if it gets half an hour. In fact, half an hour is my not negotiable for women. I'd love a little bit more.
4 hours of exercise. Do you mean like just 4 hours of decent movement, just walking?
Yeah.
Here like we do.
Yeah, exactly. So if you really think about it, it was actually mentioned in the last, I was very lucky to hear some part of the last talk, is that we are very primal. Our bodies we have not evolved. Technology has evolved, but we have not evolved. So our bodies are very much designed to be a moving unit. And they are designed to lift things, to get stronger, to if you think about it, to lift children, quite heavy children. And I know I used to hold both mine, and I'm not a very big person. I used to hold both these little chunks of chubba baby and carry them around all day long. And primally probably should have had a lot more children, but modern lifestyle would go, oh, oops, that's that too. There's a girl one and a boy one, and that's enough. So we are meant to move. We are designed to move. I know if I don't hit around about 4 hours of movement, now it doesn't need to be intense, sweaty movement, but it needs to be movement. So say it's an hour of exercise morning and night, or a stroll with your husband in the evening, and a kick of the football with your child in the morning before they start school. And then you do your own workout at the gym. You're adding up now to a little bit more of the 4 hours. So I'm not suggesting anyone goes to the gym and sweats that out for 4 hours, but we are absolutely designed to be physical beings. It's very important to be physical. And when people say, I don't like exercise, I'm like, I don't mind if you keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying we're going to find an activity that you actually like, and you can keep saying that, and I'll keep coming. What about dancing? What about putting some music on? What about doing your housework vigorously? Like I'd cleaned the shower today because it just had to be done. Right, here's my arm workout. give it good hard 5 minutes.
Really good point. I mean, I have a cleaner, and because I have a cleaner now, and it's interesting, you know, when I reached a certain age, I was like, and an income level, I was like, I'm going to have a cleaner. But it's actually stopped. That's one less activity that I have to do now. I'm not like hoovering around and lugging the hoover up and down the stairs and really giving the bathroom a scrub, where, you know, in my 20s, that was part of my exercise, part of my routine, right?
Totally. Look, I probably didn't have time, but I've painted the front of my house recently because I can do it. I like to do it. And to me, it was a meditative process, but I was up and down ladders and doing this, doing that. We rarely do things like that anymore. And I think it's very, very important to keep that activity in your day, incidental and specific. And strength training for women is very important for all people, but for women and women at this age is very important, so that making sure that, and I can go over the whole strength thing because this is very different to perhaps what people were talking about last time. Don't be shy of exercising, but you need to make sure you get adequate rest, great food and fuel, and that you are starting to condition your body. So you can't go like a bull at a gate straight away. You need to slowly condition your body. And this is where exercise prescription and having someone such as me being able to teach you to guide that in when you've got these other symptoms going on, all these hormones going on, that needs to be quite the process. You don't want to get injured either. We don't do injury. But strength training is very, very important. It's important for bone density, which you can lose at this time. It's important for the protective, to protect you and your heart. It's important for posture, or your postural muscles. It's youth giving. So muscle is youth giving. It actually helps support you. It's your immunity. All of my grandparents lived into their 90s. So what kept them alive was great muscle conditioning. They had worked with their bodies all of their lives. They had moved. They had stayed active. They had really participated all of the way. And unfortunately, there's so much sedentary happening. And when you start gaining weight, women often feel self-conscious or as if they don't want to move or it's uncomfortable to move. But it's a hell of a lot more uncomfortable to get serious health issues, and they will start coming when you don't have the protective estrogen of this time. And so the other thing with strength training is it lowers your blood pressure, decreases arthritis symptoms. Type 2 diabetes can decrease, depression, anxiety, overwhelm. It can be a meditative process. Strength training can actually allow you to, I'm geeking you out now. I'm so sorry. I get so excited about it.
I'm loving it.
But you can strength train for 10 minutes. You don't have to do 45 minutes. You can strength train for 10 minutes, and everyone can improve in strength, whether you're in a nursing home, whether you've got some arthritic condition or some metabolic derangement syndrome or something like that. And for women who are perhaps bigger, you can feel good squatting. You might not feel good going for a jog when your bra's not right, or you don't want to run outside or something. When it's like, ugh, and so strength training, sort of going right back down to basics and lifting, pulling, squatting, holding. It's really allowing that muscle to pull on the ligament attached to the bone. Sorry, the ligament attached to the tendon attached to the bone. The tendon pulling on the bone makes the bone strong. As long as you've got your great, sources of nutrition and your good rest, then you're dynamite. You're getting stronger and maybe sore a little bit, but that's all right.
It's true about the whole strength training and how you can do it. I mean, I actually hired a personal trainer about 2 years ago to do weightlifting. And I'm a real yogi. So I just thought I wanted something different. I wanted to feel really strong. And I decided, so I'm 43 now. So I would have just turned 40, I guess. And I realized I wanted to look the best I've ever looked ever. Now that I was 40, I was like, right. training, and I have
Yeah.
a trainer. And my first session with him, it was hilarious because he said, "Katie, you have no stamina." I was like, I know. I was really weak. You know, I was quite trim, but no strength at all, not a lot of tone. And but it was interesting. Like after 3 months, my strength, good Lord, the weight, I can't remember what I was lifting, but I remember the weight I was lifting was off the scale. I never knew that my little skinny body could do that. I built muscle, and it had such a great psychological effect on me too, because I felt mentally strong because I was physically strong. And actually, I really enjoyed that.
There's a real sort of metaphor. So I don't think I can lift that, then you do, and then you go, oh, I can lift that. That's I didn't think I could, and now I can. So it's a very, very basic metaphor for life, to be frank with you, and it is a very basic thing. Improvement in any physical activity, because you go, I couldn't do it last week, now I can. My body's already made adaptations. If my body can make adaptations, then I can make adaptations. And this is what we are actually designed to grow and to transition and to move forward. So women that come to me on the Ageless Body at 40 and 50, they are doing the same that you did, Katie, and going, oh, wow, I want to be this best new version of myself. What is that going to be? And on my retreats, I actually talk a lot about that, about, well, we ain't 20 anymore. So what is it going to look like for you in the next 10, 20 years? What is this person going to evolve into? Her health, her inner health, her outer health, we can't separate it. And I can tell by looking at people the work that they've done. You can't cheat it. You can't cheat good health. And I used to, when I was 20, look at, my skinny jeans and see if I fit into them. Now I look at the skin tone and the brightness of my eyes and whether I'm looking sharp and is it shiny hair. And that is all about playing the whole game, moving the body, doing work you love, hanging out with people that you love, and eating well, getting the rest, doing it all the next day on hopefully your terms, having things to look forward to. These are very important. Often women go through menopause at the same time as they're empty nesting. One or the other would be enough, but at the same time, this is actually happening. So it is an opportunity to decide what you're going to do for the next little while. Is that you're going to concentrate on getting some condition in this body, and then from there perhaps having the confidence to step towards that area of study, that new job, volunteering, something that actually creates a contribution at this time for you. I think is really, really important, and because the old doesn't match anymore, I find, with women at this age. And I know myself with, divorce and my children really gorgeously being independent, which is great, but they're kind of young and I'm wanting to hang on to them like, I'm going to be here by myself. So what are you going to do with it, Linda? How are you going to move through to this next stage?
Yeah.
And it can be exciting, though scary.
Absolutely. Well, so you were watching the interview previously where I had the 3 nutritionists on. And one of the big subjects that came up was weight gain when you go into perimenopause and menopause. Yeah. So how can we, from your perspective, maintain good, healthy weight?
So I'll just rewind a little bit. Part of the reason that weight gain occurs is lean body mass drops a bit, muscle can drop a bit, the changes in hormones, so that protective estrogen is not there, so the weight gain in different areas, and then the influx, if you like, or what seemingly is the cortisol and insulin resistance is all playing a big part of this. I don't believe often it's any one thing. I think it's often a number of those things. The other thing that may be happening at this time is that women still have their pedal to the metal. The rushing women syndrome is a new thing. 50 is the new 40. At 40, you were working really hard. Why wouldn't you at 50? You keep on pushing this. And you've not really realized the pace you've actually gone at. And I even watch women who go on holiday do the same thing as when they are at home virtually, and often the holiday is more intense because they're all the whole family's all together all the time, and it's not a rest for the mama at all. So, which is why I created my Ageless Body retreats, because that's all about you. So there's all this kind of happening at the same time, big changes in hormones, and then everyone's thinking it's but because of the menopause gets blamed. The menopause gets blamed. So there is a number of things going on there, but nothing that you actually can't work with to change that around to bring the body weight back to where you're wanting it. It is very, very important to do all aspects of the types of exercise. I mentioned strength training, a little bit of cardiovascular training is really great as well. And I also, play. So walking to the park, kicking football with you, playing beach cricket, whatever it is that you want to do. But, I did 3 laps of my local oval morning and night, and I consider that play. I did that today. It was a really sunny, beautiful autumn day, and I consider that play. I don't consider it hard exercise, but it absolutely is necessary. I take a girlfriend too, but they were working, so I'd prefer that, but they were working. So that's super, super important. And then the foods, I find my body transformations are quicker, more successful and better, along with all the fitness professionals that I know that do body transformations at any age, when there's good quality sources of protein, first class protein, good quality oils, loads of vegetables, a little bit of carbs in there somewhere, and keeping the gut as calm as possible.
Yeah. What do you mean? Good quality oils? What's that?
Avocado, olive oil, coconut oil, those sorts of things. And you can just cook in it or cook an egg in it or those sorts of things. You don't need to be adding it, although coconut oil is very good for doing oil pulling. So take a spoon of it and swirl it around your mouth for 20 minutes, spit it out into the bin, and that's great for oral health, and those single chain fatty acids are just brilliant for health. It's also great for sugar cravings, which also comes up when you are menopausal. But I find
at the minute I've never ever had sugar cravings, even period when I was pregnant, just never featured. And just recently, because I'm in perimenopause, and just recently I'm like on the hot chocolates. Hot chocolate. I've never wanted hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I'm off the coffee and I'm looking for something new.
Yep. Oh yeah. And there's nothing like a hot drink to hold. That's what I find. So I'll try to keep it
here. Like I've always got my herbal teas on the go, but there's something about the milkiness or I don't know.
Yeah, totally. So what I say about, because sugar cravings come up all the time, they certainly come up at menopause, but sugar cravings is a really big thing. All my formulas are actually based from the get-go at the start of the day to actually help level and keep level blood sugars, and also stress as well. Get good sleep. So it all starts the night before. If you've had good sleep, then you're less likely to want to actually chase down the sugar all day long. The other thing is that we all have these circadian rhythms. We have that dip in the afternoon. We are comfort weasels. We do actually like to have a little bit of comfort food at times that comes from way back when, your nana gave you a chocolate biscuit or something, when you're upset, all that sort of stuff. So it's super important to actually hedge your bets right from the get-go. Have a great sleep. Try to get that right every night. Get up, do your exercise, do your strength training, get a good quality protein-rich breakfast, and that's really big on all of my stuff. And I've got a very popular video that talks about my morning routine, because I got badgered about what I do every day. So I put it onto video, which, is boring for me, but it's really interesting to everybody else apparently. And then you go, yeah. So it's the whole thing. It's like, if you want to create habits in your life, look at someone who's successful at that, what they do in their life with that, and don't look at my filing. I'm just not doing a video about that. So, that ain't happening.
Give us a super quick step by step. What is your morning routine?
Okay. So I all start tonight before. I try to go to bed early. I try to get 7 hours seems to be my sweet spot, and the same 7 hours sleep. So same wake up time, the sleep time and wake up time. So you're maximizing that. You're also maximizing those circadian rhythms, which are natural rhythms across the day. So it's generally when it gets dark, I'm winding down, and when it gets light in the morning, I'm ready to go. And that's just been the case for forever, since babies, 2 babies under 2, but also always a trainer, always at the gym by 5:30. So then my gear, my workout gear, and it can be as basic as old tracksuit pants, are there ready to go when I wake. So you wake up, go to the loo, you go, oh, workout. Yep, got to do the workout. So the gear goes on immediately. Then loads of water just to wake up and hydrate, because you are dehydrated, and you should be dehydrated as you wake up, because hopefully you've had a block of sleep. Very important not to have too much water for ladies that get sleep issue with all their hormones. Then I do my workout, whether it be strength training or some sort of HIIT training workout with burpees and cross trainer. I happened, of course, to have a gym right here, a studio right here at my place. Then more water throughout. I'm meditate and stretch, and I don't judge myself on it. So if it's 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's whatever I've got. Then I take more water, my vitamins at that point, body scrub in the shower, protein-rich breakfast within about 20 minutes of actually working out. So you maximize your metabolic window there. You're getting some protein in because you've just done the workout. You want to have protein available right there. And we're going to break people's minds with the rules, but I have worked out the rules that work. And after all these years, I'll stick to those ones because I don't like rules. So you just got to stick to the rules that work, everybody. Just not you don't overcomplicate your life with all the rules because it's too much. And yeah, keeping a diary, so personal wellness diary, keeping a diary of everything you're doing and what's working is really good. So you become that sleuth. I love my body scrubs, and that has to sort of happen all there. Protein-rich breakfast, it might be eggs, it might be some Greek yogurt with some berries, but generally it's eggs and vegetable of some kind. Want to be lean, eat green every meal.
Yeah.
And then I get dressed as if I'm going to an office, but I've got a home office. But I try to put lipstick on and do my hair and pretend like I'm not in tracksuits from the bottom down here. And I'm not, but I could be.
It does actually have a real effect on your confidence and self-esteem, doesn't it? Just making that little bit of an extra effort in the morning.
Oh, anything. Yeah. Anything. I know I'm a much happier lady when I used to get woken by my babies, and I was delighted to be with my babies, but it was like your game on, and it was in and intense, and you're on with these little children. Yeah. It's a bit crazy. I'm much happier with my moment in time in the morning to really set up. And now whether that whole routine takes 30 minutes or an hour and a half perhaps on a Sunday, I still do it every day. And the exercise might not be intense every day, but there's movement there because it's ritual. And something you do every day becomes you. So something you do every day becomes you, whether it's mindset training, coaching with a great coach, mastery. Mastery is really, really important.
I love that. Can you say that again? What you do every day becomes you.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I said. I don't think I've ever said that before.
That's tweetable right there.
Yes.
You. I love that.
Yeah. So it really, really does. So if you are stressed and you're watching the news or listening to the radio on the way to work, or you've not given yourself any space or time in a whole day, then it becomes you. It sort of becomes you. And I know with this, this online business now, when I'm in crowds, I'm so aware I'm in a crowd because I'm sharpened up, my spaces in certain ways. So I'm really out of my depth in crowds now because I'm not used to them. So yeah, you start to sort of take on your environment. It's very important to choose yours as best you can. You know, we've got to go to work, we've got to get on a train, or got to do stuff, but as best you can to really take charge of your environment and be aware of where your attention and focus is going, because you've only got so much attention and focus. That's it. Mine is on health, my personal life, my professional life, children. That's sort of, you know.
I love everything that you're sharing, Linda. And I'm kind of wondering, so for a menopausal woman, what you're suggesting is really important, because if we want to make the most out of the second half of our life, it seems to me we have to make a little bit more of an effort. Like, speaking for myself, 43, the first 40 years, it was quite easy for me, speaking for myself, first 40 years was quite easy for me to keep fit and healthy. It was just it was part and parcel with my lifestyle, I suppose. And I had a metabolism that kind of was pretty good, and just sort of 40, and now particularly being in perimenopause, I can already see the shift. I can see that I do have to make a little bit more of an effort. I have to be more conscious to my health and fitness in a way that I wasn't before. Although I have always been pretty conscious to it. But for a lot of women, when if suddenly you hit perimenopause, which can be a challenging time, and then you're like, oh my God, now I have to change my whole lifestyle because I need to make more of an effort, and it's a bit of a shock to the system, and where do I begin? And even your morning routine sounds great. And I mean, for me, not so challenging, but a little bit challenging what you do with the exercise every morning. And I'm thinking, and I'm sure a lot of women watching this will be thinking, well, how do I suddenly do that? Like, I'm used to just getting up, having a, not me, but they might be thinking I'm used to get up, have a coffee and go straight to work, whatever. They've got a routine they've been doing for a long time that did work more. Where do they get the motivation, the energy? How do they suddenly make what can seem like
the shifts? That's a great question. And I actually give people permission, and through our programs, is I always sort of say, just focus on one thing each week. So just focus on eating 3 meals a week, never skipping breakfast. Like, that's one thing, because a lot of women, really cheap meals, just because that's their habit, and that's not doing them any favors. So maybe that's one thing. And then another thing might be to walk every day. Just make that commitment to walk every day, and that starts to become your not negotiable. And the reason I tell women, and often mothers, to do their workouts in the morning is that you're very suggestible at that time. So you're really firing much, much better, and you're getting sharper at that time. So whatever you rehearse then, you might, you could listen to some great motivational stuff. I've got 500 videos across the internet that you might want to look at. But basically, whatever you start to put in then, you are taking charge of that time. And that actually is the basis of pretty much almost my whole health routine of the day. So then I feel good to go and work then, because I've done that, had that time. And then my lunch meal becomes a real nice match of my good breakfast meal. That's 2 down, 1 to go, or a snack and your dinner. So you're actually on that on the correct foot, and your kids haven't hijacked your day, your husband, your mum, your boss, or whoever else you need to answer to. It's done. Done is done. And even if it's only 20 minutes that you've made a deal with, or 10 minutes for that matter. I've worked with clients that have actually said, I don't have 20 minutes. I just don't. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to walk for 10 minutes. And if you don't have 10 minutes, then I'm calling you up. And I'm going to say, why are you on social media and not walking around, but whatever. But you have to, you get the rewards. You do the work, you get the rewards. You do the work, you get the rewards. And it's just what do you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on solutions and results, or do you want to focus on the symptoms that are getting you down, that are actually, you can actually help? And not, I don't think just adding a smoothie is going to change your life. I don't think adding, I tell my ladies to use magnesium oil at night to help with sleep. I don't think just that is going to help, but I actually think the formula, doing all of it, hitting it from all sides, and then you don't have to be perfect at everything, but you've actually you've hedged your bets, and you're getting better and better at each day. But start with walking. So ask a girlfriend not to meet for lunch on the weekend that goes for 3 hours, and ask her to walk with you around the botanical gardens instead, as a commitment to each other. Anything that can ally you to better choices is a really good idea.
Oh, you're making me feel quite jealous. I mean, living in the UK, we've just had, I swear it was a 6-month winter, and I don't think it's really quite over yet, although we should be well and truly into spring. And it's been tough to get outdoors, and it's quite challenging, I find, in England. I know there's a lot of women in the UK that are going to be watching this. When you say go out to the gardens or go for a run on the beach, it's always raining. Real challenge finding what can we do indoors actually that's fun and interesting.
I've got about 13 workout videos on my YouTube channel, Linda Morrison, and you're more than welcome to look through those, including pelvic floor exercise video, which is had like 350,000 views. That's very popular because I speak about that area of the body like a muscle, not like a medical problem. So go and have a look there. There's really great technique things there, but you can literally just dance around. And I know when I had two little babies and I couldn't get outside, I would work out in my lounge room, and they would see me work out every day. Now, I'm not wanting to sound obsessive, because I'm certainly not, but my emotional health, my mental health, my physical health thrives when I condition my body and move my body. It can be a form of meditation, and that doesn't mean it needs to be yoga. There are other ways. I know weightlifting is for me. Definitely a form, and at menopause age you definitely won't become a bodybuilder, because you just don't have enough hormones there, unless you're planning on going to lift like an athlete in the next little while. Don't ever worry about building too much muscle. In fact, worry about the opposite. You want that muscle on your frame.
Good advice. We've had a couple of Q&As come in. Actually, 2 questions from Jean, and I think you might have just answered it. How can we access the morning routine video? Your morning routine video, where's that?
So Linda Morrison YouTube, and if you put in morning ritual, or even friend me on Facebook, Linda Morrison, and scroll back in my feed, it was actually popped up. It was popped up again the other day because someone had said something like, how can you look that good after exercise? And I'm like, I was just taken 2 years ago. It looks all right. All right. Mustn't have worked out too hard. I wasn't like a beetroot colour that day. But the point being is that sometimes the workouts aren't perfect, but it doesn't matter. Days are not perfect. So I do know that my drop in energy in the mid-afternoon is not as good. It's terrible if I haven't exercised in the morning, so I can push further, and my sleep is better when I exhaust myself. And we all know that from raising children and
Absolutely. Jean has another question. What weight would you expect a 50-year-old female to be able to lift on average?
It absolutely depends on her. We have what's called training age. So if you've never lifted weights before, then it takes a little bit longer to get stronger. But if you have been fit before and you're reconditioning and starting back again, then you will probably, if you're resting well, eating well, all of those sorts of things, you'll probably get fitter faster or stronger faster. I would actually suggest that you start, like my YouTube videos, with squats and planks and push-ups and things like that, where you're actually working your own body weight, because you can control that. You don't need to buy any weights, those sorts of things. But good old-fashioned basic exercises are often the best: squatting and lunging, push-ups, plank, sit-ups, those sorts of things. But just be super careful that you don't have injuries, that you perhaps, enlist a really good exercise prescription person to actually get you, personal trainer, or someone like myself, a coach, to actually start you off on the right foot, but also to make sure that you never want to increase anything by more than 10%. So the intensity, the time, the weight, no more than 10% if you've pulled up well from the last workout. And that's just a general rule. But increments of improvement can come about fairly quickly if you're eating well. And
that's my experience. I was like, after 2 or 3 weeks, I had massive change with my weightlifting that I did, and incredible. I actually find yoga is great because you're using your own body weight, and a lot of really good strength training just doing yoga.
Yeah, so yoga is incredible, but again, having run a chiropractic office for years, just be careful. It's very strong, intense, just because it's done slow. And the last class I went to, everyone was a nana except me, so I'm like, oh, this is easy. And the next day I couldn't move my lower back. It's like, that was me showing off. I was fine at the time, but I was just showing off. It's like, it's just yoga. But you sort of, you like anything, you get conditioned to that activity. So when you swap and change to something, you still are a novice. So you need to do your time, be the apprentice, work your way up. And we're not here to hurt ourselves in any way. We're here to help balance your hormones, help give you great health. Definitely if you've got some body goals, if you really want to rid yourself of weight, my ladies that come to me at 40 know that once 50 hits, it gets harder to lose weight. So today's a good day to start. Today's always a good day to start.
It's harder to lose weight at 50.
There's the hormones. So everything as discussed in terms of the blood sugars, the body composition meaning less lean body weight generally. These are all generalizations, but that propensity, they might not have the condition, so we can't just work out like you did in your 20s. I'm going to go lose weight and just work out, and you can still eat, lamingtons.
Yeah.
In Australia for you. I know, I just threw that in. Yeah. It's like,
I could eat a lamington right now.
Yeah.
What's the Ageless Body formula specifically? Is this something that you've designed, and you probably talk aspects of it throughout the conversation, but can you specifically share what the Ageless Body is? So
the Ageless Body formula is talking about that concept of if I don't nail my efforts 100%, what can I do? So I do hit it from all sides. We get the sleep right, we get your exercise right for your body conditioning level of effort that you actually come into it with, and great quality foods. Now, my systems, the 6-week transformation system, has food plans, exercise plans, shopping lists, stretching sheets, a weekly Zoom call like this, where my next one is talking about sabotage, because we all go through this, so I'm going to talk about that. So a lot of mindset coaching, and it's just really about you playing your best hand each day with what you've got and the time that you've got, because we're all time strapped. That said, we all find time for stuff we like to do or we think we're good at, and often exercise or health, ladies put it in I'll get to that later, or I'll be able to transform my body then, or and they get put last because of the noise of everything else going on. And so the 6-week transformation gets 6 to 10 kilos lost, 2 to 3 dress sizes. Women feel more confident, but they have a formula they can move forward with. This is the way I operate in my life. And each week, or the ladies come into the monthly membership after that, each week they add something new. It's not like about being a hero the first week or second week. You're just gradually sort of up leveling and going, oh, well, that wasn't so bad to eat green vegetables every day. What else could I do? And so there's a lot of permission, a lot of failing forward to become this rock star, as opposed to trying to get it perfect. And I see women I get frustrated, Katie, that they're trying to be perfect. You know, oh my God, it's so terrible. I'm, you know, drinking out of this plastic. It's so terrible that I took a Panadol last night. I feel so guilty about that. They're just berating themselves because they have so much knowledge, so little time to practice, and then they feel worse about themselves and the efforts they've made. Like, you know, me and my meditation for the first year, I was like, oh, this is funny. Oh, you know, it's like I'm still keeping still, but now I'm getting really good at it. But I never judged myself. I just went, well, I'm not going to be levitating.
Right, self-love. No, self-love and self-compassion is needed at this time too, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And that's how you get good. We usually avoid things we think we're not good at. So don't. You know, you are good. You're doing your good today, and you'll do a bit better tomorrow.
Yeah, I love that. What's your you might have just said it, but what would be, if you could tell a woman who's beginning perimenopause one thing, or a fully menopausal woman, that if you could tell them one thing, what would it be? What would you want them to know?
I think it would be that everything they have within them. So they have so much within them, and the judgment of self. And I hear it with women. I've actually had the pleasure of speaking to 4,000 women in about 3 years in this Ageless Body development, and many have worked with me. But it's worthiness. You know, most feel as if they're not worthy of, you know, feeling amazing all the time. You know, so it becomes I owe it to myself to have a glass of wine. No, you don't. You owe it to yourself to feel amazing all of the time. So, you know, it's sort of like, you know, we play that shorthand first. I'll just have another chocolate biscuit, as opposed to going, actually, I've got some real strong, in all honesty, I want to feel amazing. I don't want the sugar fog. You know, I want to perform tomorrow and feel proud of the efforts that I've made. So it's worthiness, that you are worthy because you are here, and get on with it. Stop trying to be perfect at all the rules, and please don't be confused by this incredible information that's Katie's brought forward for you from all these great professionals. Just take what you know that you really want to get your claws in, and start working with it. Don't try to be perfect with it. And, you know, I have days where I just go, oh, you know, there's one vegetable on my plate. Oh, well, if there's a vegetable there, could be 3, but there's only 1. And I just go, oh, well, that's just life today.
Yeah, I think you're such a perfect, you know, you said rock star, you used that word before, and you are a rock star of all that you speak about. You know, did you tell me, are you 46?
Yes.
Yeah, 46. You're looking absolutely amazing. You clearly walk your talk, and you prove that it works. You know, you absolutely prove that it works. And I love meeting really authentic people who walk their talk. I love that. And yeah, we have to drop the perfection piece. I think reaching this age and stage of life, at some point, you gotta let it go. And
for sure.
yeah, I think we really are being called to love ourselves and have a hell of a lot more self-compassion and self-care at this time. Yeah. Well, my darling, I don't think we've got any more Q&As. So how about we wrap up? Thank you so much for your time. I'm really grateful to you. I loved it.
It's been a pleasure.
Is there anything you feel that we need to add, or we've covered quite a lot? I think we've done well.
Yes, I mean, it was really nice to listen to the panel. So I sort of tried to bring something different or more, but I'm very happy to answer any questions. I geek out over health. I have a sociology degree in women's studies. So from the get-go, and with a mum with rheumatoid arthritis all her adult life, I really, you know, live and breathe this stuff, because I loathe that women are doing all the full-time jobs and there's a fallout in their health. It ain't fair. And I know in Australia the stats are 87% of 65-year-old women and above, 65-year-old women have got a chronic health issue. Now, that did not happen in her 60s. That happened, long time before. So I'd like to stand up and just for women just say with a bit of effort each day, they can, take charge of and fortify themselves for the future. We don't know if we're going to get to retire. I certainly probably don't ever want to. I'm like my grandparents living to my 90s. I want to keep going. Otherwise I'll be one bored lass. So yeah, every day, little bits.
Little bit by little bit every day. Good on you. Thanks, Linda. I've loved this conversation. Thank you so much. And lastly, where can people find you?
lindamorrison.com.au is my website, and an email is just linda@lindamorrison.com.au, but all over Facebook, which is very consumable as well. Lots of video on there. So my name and Linda Morrison, Ageless Body. But I think if you just Google, everyone says to me, if you Google Linda Morrison, it comes up lots of things there. So
because you're prolific, darling. You're everywhere.
It's either me or the folk singer from Canada, I do believe, with my name. So I'm not her.
Thank you for your time. Love you lots. And
you too.
We'll stay in touch, I think.
Thanks. That'd be awesome. Bye.
See you later.